2024 is, as they say, in the books. Yet while the year might now be confined to the pages of a book, a different kind of book is only being added to now that 2024 is all wrapped up. That book of course being the dictionary. And when I say dictionary, I mean the Oxford English Dictionary, which is my dictionary of choice but others are available. And by book what I really mean is website. The OED, as we shall refer to it as for ease's sake, will seemingly forever be a work in progress. That's mainly because the ability for it to live online means it can be updated quickly as opposed to having to constantly publish new physical versions of it, and because of the rapid rate English changes and evolves. English is ever moving, and as the OED is seen as one of the top authorities on the English language, it means they have to try their best to keep up with it. Instead of rapidly adding words to the dictionary one by one, like a dog furiously adding train tracks while on a moving train, the team at the OED instead add words to their dictionary in big chunks throughout the year. These are done quarterly with updates to the OED traditionally going out in March, June, September, and December. Honestly, during the year itself, I actually pay very little attention to these updates. It's only once the year is up, I delve into them and see what the word nerds over at the OED have been up to. And seemingly, they have once again been pretty busy this year, adding all kinds of words to their world-renowned dictionary. The OED added some truly interesting words in 2024, which range from fantastic to funny. One I really appreciate is the fact that boop made it into the dictionary in 2024. In fact, it made it in twice. Boop now appears in the OED with two different meanings. In both these cases, it is as a noun. It can be used as the name for an electronic low beeping sound, as in, my computer just made a boop noise, should I be worried? And the word can also be used as the name for tapping someone lightly on the nose, often while saying boop yourself. Both these forms of boop have been around for a while now, so it's great to see them finally in the OED. Both these kinds of boops have ties to internet culture, and many other words added to the OED in 2024 also stem from the World Wide Web too. Words such as girl boss, meaning a female business owner, chef's kiss, meaning something is really good, fan service, meaning parts of media made to appease fans, and NPC, meaning non-playable character with its origins in video games, also made it into the OED in 2024 too. Less internet-centric words that made it in include the likes of baby chino. This is just a small cup of milk and foam which coffee shops often sell aimed at kids who can't drink actual coffee yet. Baby chinos have been around for ages now, so it's great to see that word finally in the OED. Even something as simple as bin night got into, referring to the night you put your bins out for collection. Snark also made its way in, meaning something that is said in a mean way. A really interesting one is the two terms of dwarf forest and pygmy forest. These both mean the same thing and relate to a forest in which the trees have stunted in growth. This is something I'd never heard of before, so thank you OED for bringing this concept to life for me. Though my favourite word to be added to the dictionary in 2024 has to be F-turner, although that's not actually how you say it. There's a few more letters involved which I probably can't get away with saying. What this word means though is that there's a lot of something. There's a F-ton of something. Yet despite all these interesting words, they also added a bunch of really plain obvious words which you'd most likely have presumed were already in the dictionary. Words and terms like British Overseas Territory, NATO phonetic alphabet, overfished, emergency services, brass instrument, and even the terms East African and West African only got included during 2024. These are all words and terms which have been around for decades, if not centuries. Like, how are many of these not already in the OED? Did they just forget for ages and realize in 2024 they hadn't added them so quickly threw them in or something? Another group of really obvious words that only got in during 2024 are words related mainly to media, online content, and online communication. Words like group chat and voice chat have become mainstays in our life, yet it was in just 2024 these terms were added to the dictionary. So were terms like ad break, back button, and content creation itself. These words that fit into a group kind of reflect the larger theme of OED updates as a whole. While some words, like many we just mentioned, were added to the dictionary in isolation, the OED also adds large groups of words together which relate to one another during their quarterly updates too. Take the collection of cheap-centric words like cheap shot, cheap ass, and just cheap as a verb meaning to not spend money on something, which all got in this year. A ton of words relating to the Bible made it in too, like Bible basher, Bible belter, Bible thumper, and Bible beater. There was also this weird trend of words relating to stealing cats which got added too, such as catnapper, meaning someone who steals cats, and catnapping, the act of stealing a cat. There was even a bunch of dead words like dead air, dead ass, deadbolt, and deadeye which made their way into. There's all kinds of word groups in the OED across 2024, but the words I found most interesting weren't a group of words which were bundled together via a similar prefix or anything like that, but instead a collection of words which all came from the same foreign language. Minus the September update, each OED update across 2024 featured at least one word which was Japanese in origin. Obviously, Japanese and English are pretty different languages. They derive from different language families and even have different writing systems. Yet despite this, many Japanese words have seemingly become so commonplace in the English-speaking world that they've ended up in one of English's most renowned dictionaries. Words from Japanese that entered the dictionary in 2024 include, but are not limited to, isekai. This is the name for a fantasy genre in which the main character is transported to another world. Western examples of isekai include things like Alice in Wonderland and the Narnia series. Many Japanese animes and mangas fit into this genre too, like Sword Art Online. Another Japanese genre word that made it into this English language dictionary in 2024 is tokusatsu. This is the name for a film or TV show which uses a lot of practical effects, like having humans in monster costumes. Think of something like Godzilla or Ultraman. Kintsugi made it into, with this being the name for a Japanese crafting technique when broken pottery is repaired and mended with gold. Mangaka is the name for a writer or illustrator of manga. Visual kai was added too. This is a look linked to Japanese rock music, linked to crazy costumes and crazier hair. Gaman is the Japanese concept of taking on a hardship with a sense of dignity, and this word was added in 2024 too. One I really like from Japanese is maneki niko. This is the proper name for those waving cat figures you see all over the place, which supposedly bring good luck to their owners. Omiyage is the Japanese tradition of gift giving, and this term was added too. Even just the letter J as a prefix got added to the dictionary this year. This J suffix is used when referring to something from Japan. Think J-pop for Japanese pop music, or J-drama for a drama television show from Japan. That's a lot of words of Japanese origin which have found themselves in the OED. But the crazy thing is that's only really the tip of the iceberg. There are even more Japanese words found in the dictionary which were added in 2024, and the majority of them relate to Japanese food. Words relating to Japanese food which found their way into the OED in 2024 include, but is not limited to, donbori, katsu, onigiri, okonomiyaki, takoyaki, tonkatsu, yakinku, dorayaki, furikake, omurice, and sando. Now, I won't go into detail about what exactly all of these are, but all you need to know is that they are various Japanese foods, and of the ones on that list I've tried, they are incredibly tasty. Between these foodie words and the non-foodie words, a huge amount of Japanese words or words that relate to Japan were added to the dictionary in 2024. And while it might seem strange to see so many words of another language enter an English language dictionary, I'm actually kind of surprised that it took this long to add many of these words to the dictionary. A load of these Japanese words are now super commonplace with English speakers in the English speaking world. Katsu is an incredibly popular dish in and outside of Japan, and concepts like kintsugi are well known here too. Japanese culture, ideas, and words are so commonplace in the English-speaking world, down to the fact that Japanese culture as a whole is incredibly popular. There are many people in places like the UK and the USA who are really into Japanese culture, whether that be older Japanese traditions or customs, or their more recent popular culture output like their anime, mangas, and video games. Like, there are people out there who evolve their entire identity around being into Japanese stuff, and good for them. There's a lot of things you can be in this world. In the grand scheme of things, being a weeb is harmless. Trust me, I've been to Japan multiple times in my life and have dumb Japanese tattoos on my arm. I'm part of this problem. People in the English-speaking world have always been interested in Japanese culture, but there was a huge rise in interest in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. This is when things like manga and anime became more widely available across the globe, and things like Godzilla came into being too. Then of course there was also Pokemon, a franchise which got a whole generation of kids hooked on Japan. All of this coincided with the rise of the internet, which gave these Japanese-obsessed people a place to talk and research deeper into the land of the rising sun. All this led to many Japanese terms and words finding wider usage in the English-speaking world. Like, many English language bookshops have a section labeled manga. And with this rise in interest for Japanese culture came the rise in interest for Japanese food. Japanese food is surging in popularity at the moment, with there being articles from the last few years explaining how much it has risen in popularity. Japanese food also isn't as stigmatized as other things from Japan, like their anime or their video games. No one will make fun of you for enjoying a katsu curry, but calling someone a nerd or weirdo for being really into anime is still fair game seemingly. But even that idea of someone being weird because they're really into Japanese things is getting outdated today. Japanese popular culture is so commonplace today in the English-speaking world that it's no longer seen as just a thing for weirdos who spend all their time online. It's kind of just something people are into today. This huge fascination in the English-speaking world with Japanese culture and food has seemingly culminated with the addition of a huge amount of Japanese words finding themselves in the Oxford English Dictionary in 2024. But like I said, I thought these words would already be in there. I kind of presumed that the Japanese boat had sailed and people were far more interested in Korean culture these days. Things made in South Korea, from music to TV shows to movies, have surged in popularity recently, and I presumed this would replace the interest in Japan. It's good to see there's still enough interest in Japanese culture for its words to make it into the dictionary. Maybe as the years go on, Korean words will find their way in too. But speaking of the years going on, we have the rest of 2025 ahead of us. So let's see what this year brings us and what words will end up being added to the dictionary this time around. Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos, and your name at the end of the video with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/Name Explain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm Name Explain YT and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and once again, thank you all so much.